Sunita ma'am is there.
Hi, Apurva. Hello,
Okay,
Hello,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Madan,
joining.
Yeah,
Tripura,
good evening, ma'am. Welcome.
Linda. Good evening.
Hi.
Yeah.
Good evening.
So,
Hi.
Apurva, let's start 6 p.m. It's
Yeah. So, good evening to all. Greetings from Sexual Health and STI Committee, Foxy. My dear friends, 25th November 2024 is marked as 25-year of the day which we celebrate as to eliminate violence against women. In year 1999, UN declared the 25th November a day which we take a pledge to eliminate the violence which is around the world and which is silent pandemic and it really need a violent. And so 2024 we are celebrating 25 years of that. My dear friends, every 10 minutes a woman is killed around the world. With a hashtag, it doesn't need any explanation. My dear friends, one in every three women is suffering from a violence in any form, either from the partner, from the house, from the workplace, from the school, colleges, and what not. So it is really important to bring out something so that we can bring a change in our society and make our society more friendly towards the women. So it's on sincere effort again under the blessings of the Foxy leadership. Our committee is actually organized this webinar where we are getting panelists from activists, from NGOs, from doctors, from advocate, or from the police department. So discuss what we can do to change and make our society a little bit more tolerant toward women and more friendly toward the women. So as we all know, when we start something new, we always take a blessings from our senior. And really, it's really give me a tremendous pleasure. And really, we are so blessed to have none other than but Sunita Tendulwalkar, madam. Madam doesn't need any introduction. Ma'am is the Foxy President elect for 2025. Ma'am is the past president of ISG and also the president ISAR elect. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. Over to you, ma'am, for your kind words and blessing.
Hi. First of all, congratulations. It is such a wonderful topic that sexual committee is coming with the violence against women, the most needed topic as well. And thank you, Apurva, for having me with this. You have absolutely the galaxy of stars, and I'm really eager to hear what is this panel, going to take when you have a Narendra as a moderator. You have a fantastic panelist. And I have always seen, I think Neeraj, some credit goes to you also, that sexual committee, you got evolved in very different way. And you got Apurva as a national coordinator who really worked very hard to take with you all your programs and together you rocked. And now Apurva has learned so beautifully that he has taken a Madan from Akluz. Madan is a highly resourceful, very academic, and very hardworking, sincere guy. And now he is working with Apurva the way. So, you need to have some company also or some colleague also to interact with you. But what amazes me with your committee is the amount of topics, the very topics you people take with it. And because during my elections, I have closely observed, though now I'm out from a WhatsApp for another 6 weeks, I think. But after 6 weeks, we'll be coming back on WhatsApp with all the Foxians. So I have always observed this committee doing a wonderful job. So Foxy coming with 30 committees working in 30 direction is the way Foxy has rocked. And I think every year every president, vice president, committee chairpersons are taking every committee to another level. And I'm so thankful. But Apurva, last 6 weeks of whatever webinars you want to do, you know, from 9 January, there are no webinars in the country by chairpersons. I'm stopping them completely. So enjoy. You can have every alternate day. But definitely, I'm coming out with a very great idea, which even people will enjoy, and you will have a lot of creativity to explore with that, what I'm coming with. So thanks once again for having me, and I will be listening to your conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for always your blessings, for always your encouragement. And definitely, ma'am, I know the next year will be one of the most hectic year for all of us, for all the chairpersons. So thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for always being.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Uh, so after we are getting blessings from our chief guest, now before we move to the scientific session, I think I would like to thanks and to invite none other than but the immediate chairperson of my committee, that Sexual Health and STI committee, Neeraj Jadhav sir. Sir is the brainchild. These all programs are the brainchild of the sir, and sir has started these all programs during his tenure, and which I am here to continue this. So, sir, please your 2 lines of yours, and before we start our program today.
Thank you, Apurva. It's a really nice feeling to what we have. I have started 3 years back, and you and Madan are continuing this activity. So it's really amazing. And as we all know, we are doing this webinar on the occasion of prevention of violence against women. And this activity is at least for next 10 days. This activity will be continued to sensitize the various segment of society so that we can achieve the target of elimination of violence against women. And this is a digital era. So again, there are some changes about the what type of violence today's women are facing. So there are new challenges, and we should have to discover new ways to solve these new challenges. So I'm very thankful to Narendra Malhotra sir, who took the charge of this panel, which is going to be very vibrant because there are so many eminent faculties as a panelist. So I'm really eager to hear from every one of you about today's panel. So I welcome everyone for today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for always being there as a backbone of our committee. And over to Madan sir and Tripti ma'am for conducting today's program. Yeah.
Thank you, Apurva, Neeraj sir, and all the dignitaries. Thank you once again. I have my co-convener, Dr. Tripti Sharan ma'am, who is the obstetrician gynecologist at New Delhi. And the best part is she is the author of several best-selling books and also blogger and columnist. I welcome Tripti ma'am, and I hand over to Tripti ma'am for to start the session. Yeah, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madan. Warm greetings, everyone, from a little foggy, little smoggy, little cold, but always warm at heart, Delhi. So today we are here to engage in a very pertinent, very sensitive topic, and that is violence against women. It's time for action. Action not just for justice and accountability, but also support for advocacy. And that is why we have a very impressive list of panelists from every sphere, from different walks of life. But first and foremost, I need to introduce my moderator here. And Sir, Dr. Naren Malhotra sir needs no introduction. Yes, he is currently the managing director, Rainbow Hospital. He's a pioneer in the field of IVF, and he's so multi-talented, multifaceted. He was our past Foxy president, and he has been part of several women health initiatives also, and now he's also become an author. Welcome, sir. I look forward to a very thought-provoking and engaging session today under your moderation. So I'm going to invite all my panelists alphabetically. The first would be Amod Kansar. He's a distinguished police officer and ex-DGP, Director General Police Delhi, and the founder of NGO Prayas. During his service, he has, solved several notorious cases like the Dhaula Kuha murder case and the Jessica Lal murder case. So he has, first-hand experience of dealing with, women who have faced violence. And now his Prayas is a home to several destitute women also who are involved in human trafficking and drug abuse. I believe he'll be joining us soon. And my next panelist is Advocate Anubha Rastogi. She is working in Mumbai for the last 21 years. She has a keen interest in taking up cases for these unfortunate women who have suffered injustice, violence, and abuse. She takes up, she has a keen interest in human rights, women rights, and especially focus on sexual and reproductive health care. And welcome, ma'am. I hope she's joined us.
Yes, she is there.
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, our next panelist is Brinda Adige. Ma'am, it's a prestige to have you here. I believe some of us would have seen her on the TV debates and all. A ferocious women activist. She is really out and out for women rights. And she's founder and director Global Concerns India. They provide legal aid and help these women in getting justice. And she also works for gender sensitization. And also for you, she's trying to help women come out of human trafficking and bonded labor, both women and children. Welcome, ma'am. Our next panelist is our own Jayam Kannam, ma'am. She's currently Director Garbha Tashkagi Group of Institutes Trichy. She was Vice President 2018 Foxy. The gynecologists day in and day out are dealing with women, and we are supporting them not only in diseases, but also in the other challenges that we face. We look forward
Where
to
the thing
hearing
comes.
from us. I hope ma'am has joined, Jayam, ma'am.
No, JMM is not there, but she
Joining,
will try
yeah,
to join.
she's joining.
All right, all right. So our next panelist is Dr. Mausami Singh. She is professor and head of Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology at CMC Vellore. She has done a lot of work related to gender violence. She is also convener and core member of POXO committee at CMC Vellore. She has presented a lot of papers on dowry deaths, suicidal dowry deaths, sexual abuse, and has also several books and publications on these very topics. To her credit. Welcome, ma'am. I'm sure we'll share your insights on this topic.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi. Our next panelist is Dr. Reena Wani. Ma'am is professor and head of Department of OBGY, HBT Medical College and Dr. R.N. Cooper Hospital, Mumbai. She is a distinguished academician and has several awards to her credit. Ma'am, welcome on the panel. We look forward to hearing a lot from you today.
Thank you.
So our next panelist is Dr. Sangeeta Saxena. She's not just a gynecologist, she's also an author and a women activist. She co-founded Enfold Trust in 2001 and deals with children and adults working on issues surrounding sexuality, gender equity, and personal safety. She has co-authored On Track workbook series where they are dealing with these children and telling them how to deal with these issues and also their disabilities. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So our last panelist today is Dr. Sarita Sinha. She is principal, Delhi Public School. So now schools deal with children and their formative ages, and I'm sure our principals, teachers, and schools are doing so much work in sensitizing children, and she has worked a lot on promoting gender sensitivity, gender equity, not only amongst children, but also not only amongst girls, but also boys and other staff of her school. Welcome, ma'am, on our panel. So now I hand over to Naren Malhotra.
Malhotra sir, 1 minute. Apurva, Madhuri Madam is here.
Madhuri ma'am is there. Yeah. Sir, just few minutes. Now I just want to welcome Dr. Madhuri Patel ma'am, the guest of honor, and definitely she is the first Secretary General of our vibrant organization Foxy. And ma'am, thank you so much for always being there, for always supporting us. Without your support, these webinars can't be. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. Over to you, ma'am, for your blessings. Yeah.
Thank you, Neera, Dr. Apurva. Narendra sir, please excuse me. I came to Sagar. I just reached to the hotel, so I could not join in between. So I said, let me join.
We've not started.
Yeah. So I'm so happy to see all of you, and we all are working towards our another mission which we already have in a Foxy, no to violence against women. So I will not take much time, but I will definitely say that this 25th International
Can you do it?
Day is observed violence against women because the three activities, political activities in Dominican Republic's, country were assassinated and they by their politician, and it is named, and therefore we celebrate this 25th day of November as no to violence against women. I don't want to come in between. In Foxy we have many activities, and I know Narendra sir, Dr. Reena and Jayam have done lots of work in this, and all of us are doing. So all the best. First, let me congratulate and all the best, because I don't want to be in between the panel. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
A very good evening to all of you. Let me at the outset congratulate Foxy and the Sexual Medicine Committee and all of you who are ready here to talk about why eliminating violence against women. And I don't know whether we should be celebrating this day or whether we should be introspecting on this day on 25th of November. So the Foxy office bearers and my panelists, welcome. And this is indeed a real good program. So 25th November, as you just heard, the UN said it's a day for eliminating violence against women, and we need to address global challenges in action and all sorts of all forms of violence, domestic, sexual trafficking, women genital mutilations, online harassment. And if you saw the TV just now, there was a huge walk going on in Nigeria by women on this. So it was established. What again was established by the UN was that next 16 days we should have activism against gender violence. Now, I want to ask my panelists, all of you, what is the meaning of the 16 days? Why only 16 days? Why not 365 days of activism? Can Anuba, the advocate, tell us that? Or Brinda, the
Dr. Malhotra,
activist?
can I take that question? This is
Yes,
Dr.
Reena, you
Reena
can.
Wali.
Yes.
10th of December is World Human Rights Day. And as George Orwell had said in his famous book, Animal Farm, all men are equal, but some are more equal than others. And although we talk about equality of men and women, women's rights still have not found their place, which is why we are starting from the 25th of November and ending on World Human Rights Day to focus. And the color orange, I apologize, I didn't wear orange today because I had to go for a wedding, but orange is the color of gender-based activism. And we, in fact, have put up orange posters all over our OPDs yesterday in the local language Marathi to sensitize the women who are coming to us that there is help and there is hope for you.
So this is exactly what it is that you finish. Anyone wants to add something to it? Why not 365 days? Why we should bring the why should we should end at 10th December and say we'll wake up again on next 25th November?
So this is, I think, mostly because of the programs that can be had and highlighting and amplifying the issues through these 10 days. But otherwise, the UN as well as all of activists across the world absolutely believe that it is 365, 366 days of the year. It's also the days that are commemorating the signing of the CEDAW by a large number of countries across the world. So there are just these commemorations and observations. That's all. Otherwise, the principle is 365, 366 days.
If I may just add, Dr. Malhotra, sorry, you had called upon me. So I completely agree with Dr. Vani and Brinda ma'am. The idea here was really to commemorate these 16 days. But of course, it doesn't mean that barring these 16 days, we don't think or we don't talk about or we don't act on issues affecting women, especially on violence and the different forms that violence takes. But the idea really was so that there are specific days when we actually come together, brainstorm,
that
think about what are the kind of actions that are to be taken and are being taken,
so
and
there
do
are
like
a
the stock
lot of
taking
problems in the
list.
world, and let's focus each with certain days. And of course, every day you can't say ki, these 16 days there'll be no violence. Rest of the year you can do whatever you want. So let me no, that's
Hello, may I
that's
add
not
something?
accepted. So Dr.
Hello,
Sarita, DPS principal, is this a global crisis?
hello, may I add something?
Yes, yes,
Hello.
yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I am Amitabh Srivastav.
Yes, Amitabh. Instead of Amod, you are there.
No, Amoji will be joining soon.
तब तक
But,
आप हो.
Yeah, I am a senior journalist. I've been writing a lot on these issues, and I work with Prayas also.
Thank you. Great.
I was just trying to say that, answering your question, why not every day? From what I have seen the last 10, 12 years after Nirbhaya, I believe all these rituals are only rituals. We are not really serious about these issues.
We'll come to that.
We'll forget about about these issues. One thing very concrete, I'm very, very hurt and about is, there was a survey sometime back by the Ministry of Health.
Yeah.
Where they asked women why wives should not be beaten up. Excuse me, hello? Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
There was a survey that conducted by the Ministry of Health where they asked women, conducted a survey by women on what excuse women should be beaten up. And they had given 5 excuses. Supposing she refuses to have sex in the night, she does not cook the food, she does not listen to her in-laws, and this survey was conducted by the Ministry of Health. How regressive can we be? How do you feel? How do we mean to change this world if we are not sure about ourselves? We are still going by these misogynistic questions. I would ask to anybody, any panel person to answer these questions, because I am very hurt. I'm very shocked.
We will answer. We will try to find out why about all this. Let's come to this thing. Is it a global problem, or is it a problem to India, Pakistan, South Asia? Is it a global problem? Is it a global crisis? And can we ask the principal of the college to say whether it's a global problem, or Dr. Sangeeta?
Thank you, Dr. Malhotra. I am Dr. Sarita Sinha, principal of Delhi Public School. Now, actually, it is a global problem. And right now, when you were talking, I was just listening to a speaker who said about Nigeria. And definitely, I think we are seeing all different parts of the world, some problem or the other women faces. And we don't have proper laws for this. Even if we have proper laws, we don't have proper implementation.
We'll come to the legal part.
No, I'm not coming to the legal part yet. I'm just expressing my views on this.
Yeah.
Now this global crisis all over the world is becoming against women is becoming a big problem. Thank you.
So it is a global problem. It is a global crisis. Dr. Sangeeta, you want to add something to it?
Yes, yes. I just want to say
Look at
that
the global status report, which has been there. 120 million women, 1 out of 3 being abused in any form. Yes, Dr. Sangeeta Saxena.
yes, I just want to say that it will remain a global problem as long as we continue to differentiate between the genders, and we continue to think that some genders are superior, some are second, and some are third, and stuff like that. And
So
in
you
our
mean you want to
own,
change that men come from Mars and women come from Venus? That should
not
be
at
changed.
all,
They all come
not
from
at all.
Earth. They're all on
Yes, we
Earth.
all come from Earth. We are
So we are
all
all on the Earth.
equally human. Yeah,
And
each
it's
one
not
of
the
it.
Mars and Venus which should differentiate.
Correct. And we are all equally human. No gender can say that I'm more human than you, I have more rights than you. We are all equally human until we come to respect each other. And in our own country, in the Northeast, in some areas where it is a matrilineal society, it is the men who are suffering domestic
Yeah,
violence
the men are
much
beaten
more
up
than
there.
women. Yeah, so it will remain a global problem unless we come to respect each other.
So, Dr. Mosmi, as being a forensic expert, you must have come across a lot of them, a lot of these violence. What are the type of violences which you see that women actually face here?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Dr. Narendra. We have very well recognized in our Indian law and the constitution about the sexual and physical violence against women. What we do not recognize or doesn't come to the surface, not even to the hospital, is the other forms like the emotional or psychological abuse or violence that happens against women. And most of the people in our society suffer more of out of these rather than physical or sexual, which comes to the reaches out to the hospital for help. And these other forms of intimidation and helplessness actually forces them to commit suicide and take extreme steps.
So
So we
that is
don't.
equally bad than having just been slapped or something. Equally
Yes,
bad. And of
yes,
course, with
I'd like
yes,
to
yes,
add
Dr. Brinda,
something.
with the internet and all, now the digital violence is also there.
yes, right.
Digital arrests are happening. I don't know what all is happening. What is going to happen?
Yeah,
Yes, Dr.
and
Brinda.
also the yes. Yeah, please
I
carry
just,
on.
Brinda.
yeah, I just want to add that there are two very important aspects that we don't give too much importance to is the social and family sanctions that is allowed. And that is why women think and do like this. In India, if you look at the law itself, it is a remedial act, it is not a criminal offense. So you can't jail the man or the woman, whoever is the perpetrator, for domestic violence. There is a lot of counseling, there's a lot of mediation, and then there's some remedies that people would give, saying, okay, you stay separate until and unless it is looked at as a criminal offense against another human being being beaten or violated.
So the law needs to be changed. Anubha,
The
these
understanding
women who are
also.
suffering from violence, when the police goes and asks them, "Nahi, nahi, nothing. I don't want to complain." I mean, how do you tackle this situation? No, no, I have to live with him only. I have to live in this. If he throws me out, who will look after me? I can't even earn. What I mean, what they just withdraw the complaint, or they do just don't complain.
See, because one needs to understand the reality that women live in, or the reality that they think they live in. It's not so simple, it's not like every woman or every person rather knows what their rights are, knows what is expected. And it's not even like that the system is offering them solutions which are appropriate, which are respectful. So obviously the reality that you think you have is that you don't have any other option. And it happens n number
So
of times that women come to us as lawyers. We see a lot of women who face violence, and they want to know what are the legal options that they have, what is it that can be done, what kind of cases can be filed. And they do then midway decide that they don't want to go ahead. And frankly, I mean, it's a choice that that person is making. We must respect it, but we must keep that person informed that you can
they
get
have
out of
certain choices. They have
that
legal options.
situation.
So
No,
they
and
have
that you can get out of that
Yeah.
situation.
you can get
You
out, but
don't
the
have to think that there is no option
problem
out.
is the employment, empowerment, and the money which the figures of all this is, I mean,
No, let
astonishing.
me, Dr.
Yeah.
Malhotra, let me tell you that even women who are
There is
financially better off still don't think that it's an option for them to step out of a relationship which is violent, especially when the
So
relationship is in the nature
why
of marriage.
क्या वो अभी
may
तक
I,
चल रहा है? वो क्या अभी तक वो है कि एटीट्यूड, वो चार लोग क्या कहेंगे? And you
may I
never know
come
those
in?
चार लोग.
And
Who are
yes,
those
I
चार
mean,
लोग in the
I would
society?
like
see,
to
absolutely, it is,
say,
या संगीता, वो
yeah,
चार
I would
लोग
like
आपको पता
to
है क्या कहेंगे? कौन है वो चार लोग?
so I would also like to say that these are interpersonal relational issues. And the punishment criminal justice system may not be the best option to resolve such interpersonal, emotional, relational issues. We need to also look at the option of restorative practices and restorative justice, which is probably more attuned to the person taking responsibility, being held accountable, and the relationships get stronger. In the
So,
criminal justice system, the relationship breaks. The woman says, hello, I only wanted him to stop. I didn't want him to be put in jail. Right? So we need to look
Sangeeta,
at that.
just a second. When our age people, I believe you must, I'm not saying you're as old as me. When our age people got married, it was very, very easy to marry, but very difficult to get a divorce. Right now, it is the opposite. It is getting very difficult to get married and very easy to get a divorce. So that interpersonal relationship of understanding is taken a toss. I don't know how it will get back, and we'll go on to this in the legal part. But you see, the statistics is terrible. 35% sexual violence, 47% murders of women as compared to 6% of men. 55%, 98% sexual exploitation. 200 million women are having female genital mutilation. I'm shocked about this because being a gynecologist, I thought the figure will not be this much, but it is in Africa. So let's come to the root cause of it. What actually causes this violence? Any one of you? Dr. Reena,
Uh,
as you, Dr. Reena is going to leave us early, so let's talk to her first. Dr. Reena Vani.
So, Dr. Malhotra, there is one thing, based on what was discussed earlier, we talk about women empowerment, but economic empowerment is not happening. Beti bachao, beti ko kaam karne do, that does not happen. That is one of the root causes. And the changes in the social laws, like the laws of Manu, what was talked about by our journalist, in the laws of Manu, it was acceptable for men to beat their wives. And marital rape is still not a cognizable offense. Now, an example, I have dealt with more than 2,000 cases of violence against women in the past decade in just my one hospital, which is not even a dedicated one-stop center. But it is in a city like Mumbai, where we stay next to Amitabh Bachchan's bungalow. I had a woman coming to me for MTP with a bruise on her face and a black eye.
We're seeing
In
that
the
every
2 days.
day, still seeing it
But,
every day.
but sir, in the 2 days that she was in the hospital while we were working her up and other things, she just changed her mind because the husband came and said, "Come home. Your other children." She had two children at home. Your other children are crying. I will be better. I will not do this again. I tried to remind her about Aftab and Shraddha's story. I said, next time you may not be alive, because she said that he has done this couple of times before. But I am helpless. I am an orphan. I have no family. I'm a housewife. I can't support myself. I referred her to the domestic violence officer, the protection officer, but that she was not willing to go. And that then she just left the hospital. So
So
this is a
that
harsh
makes our
reality.
job even more difficult. How to empower? Yes, Doctor. Yes, Vrinda. Yeah.
We need to understand that there is a lot of support that we need to give to women. It's not just economic independence. And we need to also know that we don't have those support systems with us just now. We do not have shelters, we do not have trauma care units, we do not have counseling units, we do not have any of these. If a woman has been thrown out of the house or she leaves the house and comes, we have just these shelters that cater to women who may be either sex workers and prostitutes that the police have brought or very poor women. So if you look at the middle class women, they can't stay in these shelters. I'm not talking about a class and a caste discrimination.
Yeah,
But
and
let
going back
us
to the parents'
place.
house is also not always an option.
Exactly. So if all of these are shut, what else does this woman do?
Where
If
does she
you
go?
Then she has no other option other than to go back to the husband, because there she might have some little respite vis-a-vis, other outside things. There is a food, there is a bed, and there is something there. Until and unless, she kind of realizes that there is support out there. Organizations give compartment support. Nobody across India, there's no single organization that says, you come in here and I will give you everything till you're strong enough to move out. But in
So
the West and Europe, you have it like that.
let's get a one-liner of your
One
thought
more.
of the main. Yes, Sangeeta.
Yes,
One-liner.
I would.
What do you feel is the most important root cause? Sangeeta,
Yeah, for me, the most important root cause is that we are not holding the perpetrator, the offender, responsible or accountable. We are still working with the victims and not
not
looking
we.
at
The
the
woman only
offenders.
is not holding him responsible. The
No,
lady
the
who suffered the
perpetrator.
violence, she's only saying, "Maaf kar diya."
No, sorry, the perpetrator, the man. Now, if most violence is perpetrated by men, then let's look at the men.
Yes.
And how come we are not holding that person responsible and accountable for the violence that they are causing? And
Because
this
then
begins
nobody's
from
complaining
small.
against him. Because
No,
nobody's
it's
complaining
not a
against him.
question. No, that's very late. That's very late. How about the boy child? How
Yeah,
about the
so
role models?
yeah, so
How
we'll come to
about
the
the masculinity?
principle about that next. Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, if I
Reena, what do
can
you think
just
is the root?
add,
Mosmi, what do you think is the root cause?
yeah, so
Main root cause.
normalization of abuse in female's life when
So
the child
female and
is,
male, female think
yeah,
it is normal to get beaten.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
the mother-in-law thinks it's normal. मेरे बेटे ने एक चांटा मार दिया तो क्या हो गया?
Yes, and even the family of the female doesn't support, say that yeah, you have to adjust, and by the time they gain some courage and come out, it's
Then
too
it's
late.
maybe too late. Anubha, what do you think is the root cause? Anubha, Amod, the journalist
See,
who was there.
I would think that I mean, there's not one single root cause that you can assign, but I would definitely think that a lot of, I mean, womenkind think that there is no option. And I think the moment, and Dr. Malhotra, you said that nowadays
Go
it's
for the
easier to get a
session.
divorce. It's because a lot of people, a lot of women especially, are refusing to be in situations which are making
Exactly.
them go beyond what they
Beyond.
think is all right for them.
So do you think the tolerance is also less on both sides?
See, I think that, I think what has happened is that our women are getting empowered, but nobody's telling the men that the women are now empowered.
That's
So the
so
men
we
don't know how to deal with these things.
exactly.
Yes.
And
Empowered
women
women,
are very clear that we don't
men
want
want a empowered woman, but then when they get it, they say, "Oh my God, what did I get?"
So,
Yes. And
I mean,
No, they
if
don't
we
say
take
that
it in the
also.
lighter
They
way,
don't even say that.
men
That
want
also. Huh?
men
I think
empowered women as friends. When they
Yeah.
become their partners, life partners, they don't know what to do with them.
So
and we need to
let's go a
I
little faster because I think we have limited time. The
I,
impact
I
is
would like to just say one thing. The
yeah.
main cause is the patriarchal society we are
Patriarchal
living in.
society. Yes, I
Yes,
wanted that
the
to come
main
out.
thing
That
is
is
the
the main
patriarchal
cause.
society.
Probably
And,
yes.
and the
Probably yes. But
dependence of women.
and it
The
will not
dependence of
change for a long time.
now
I
that
don't see a
Sir,
change.
can I
now what
just
we
say
and
one
see in
thing?
school also is the
That to
same.
change, sir, to change the patriarchal
The
mindset,
mother has
we
suffered,
have
she
to
does not.
start small. And we have to change the thought process in our own houses and in our own surroundings. And we have to be the change we want to see in the world.
Be the
That I
change you
think is,
want to see. Yeah.
yes,
So
that is the
what does this
best.
impact on violence in women have on the society, on the family? I mean, what do you think will happen when women get beaten? To the family, to the society, to the city, to the country. I mean, what do you think is happening, Brinda? We can start with Brinda, Anoba, Reena.
This is a shadow pandemic, Dr. Malhotra. And
It's a
in fact,
pandemic.
it's a pandemic. In COVID, there was a pandemic happening, but there was side by side a shadow pandemic of
Terrible
more
violence
women
happening.
being beaten up or not knowing where to go and not being able to access the healthcare system. Even now, I feel we are only at the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more which is below the surface. But now, in fact, your first question, why are we talking about these 16 days? It's at least because we are talking about it and highlighting it and making it come forward so that there is more conversation on this. And one more thing about the Vishaka guidelines, if you're going to come to that, but I would like to say that I'm very happy that in the last 10 years, lot of companies who had never got anything to do with it have actually set up internal complaint committees as per the Vishaka guidelines. And I'm glad to say that I'm also on two of these committees in different organizations. And at least people are talking about it, which was not there. And all male dominated organizations, like one of these industries where I go for these meetings, 90% are all male in the top brass. So the 10% females need a representation or a voice.
So these women are going to suffer. They're going to
Can
get
I just come in on that?
mentally and physically injured. They're not being given money. Yes, Anuba, you can come in here. So to the woman, to
So
the
just to
society, what's
take
happening?
correct, just to take the example of what Dr. Vani just said of sexual harassment at workplace. See, the Vishaka guidelines came in 1995-96.
Yeah.
The law came in 2013. The law ensured that companies which are listed, it is a mandate in your annual report.
To have a
You
Vishaka
know, it's a
report, yeah.
listing mandate that you can't be listed in the stock exchange unless you have these compliances. So, you know, while the moment the system is pushing actors to ensure that there's compliance, there will be compliance. Even now, even though all the companies would have set up committees, it's probably true that about 50 or 60% of them would be in the spirit of the law, and about 40-50% would be just for namesake. But the fact is that because there is a push, you know, that's the reason why this compliance has happened. And I think that's the kind of push that we need on all aspects.
So, Anubha,
it-
you're right. It's a beginning
awareness
to
plus
change
the
laws.
push which you need. Yes,
Yes.
Doctor. Yes, Vrinda, and then Reena. Last point on this question. Yes.
We must understand systems are also very patriarchal. The functionaries are also very patriarchal.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The paperwork.
So even though we might have a law, and we see the spirit of the law is yet to be imbibed by them. One. Two, look at the Domestic Violence Act itself. It talks of a within 48 hours for the family court to give you an interim order. Nowhere in India have we got that done. On that also only protection order and shelter order, nothing major. Just these two to keep us safe. Even that the judges are unwilling to give.
Correct.
So you look at how the judges are not even looking at even the letter of the law. Forget the spirit. The letter of the law asks for you to do this. So when we look at these things, we need to understand that monitoring and accountability is missing from state agencies.
Reena, you wanted to add something? Quick point.
So what I feel is that we have a lot of laws which look very good on paper, but actually giving the law teeth to bite is not there. Like implementation of and having availability of the connections for women to reach is not
We'll
there.
come to the laws and we'll ask the lawyer and the advocate. Let's see what can the world take. World has taken, UN has taken one thing, that 16 days activism karo or gender-based violence ke against खूब सारा awareness karo. But आज if you saw the newspaper today morning, not a single mention about this day, not a single mention about this thing. You look at the page inside, this girl raped here, this girl murdered here, this girl murdered here. But कोई नहीं बोल रहा कि ये. So where are we? I mean, why are we celebrating or making these days when we don't want to be an active part on these days? Irina might have put all orange. I might have put all orange. I did a talk in my OPD on women. One of them got up today and said, "Sir, ये क्यों बता रहे हो हमको? हम कभी अपने हस्बैंड को कुछ वो थोड़ा ना देंगे, गाली तो देता है, शराब पी के आता है तो गाली देता है, ठीक है, सुन लेते हैं." I mean, that is the attitude.
The
So
awareness
globally,
is
what
lacking.
else can we
Yeah,
do?
if I can just come in.
Yes,
So
Sarita.
we were
The awareness is lacking. You know, today's Constitution Day and so much of awareness. And what about this day? None of this, none of us in school also knew about it.
That's it.
Unless we get to know, schools at least should know that today is this day. You have to fight violence against women. And this is a very important day. So I think that awareness is still lacking. Schools still don't know about it. We have all committees. As per the law and this thing, we have all committees in school. And we strictly adhere to it. But what about the awareness? The awareness is still lacking.
So I have not seen a single walk happening in India. I saw on the TV a walk happening in Nigeria, and some 10, 15 ladies got together in some European city which they were showing, but nothing on CNN International or on BBC. This was the only two flash. None of the Indian channels are talking about this.
Sir, may I say
And
something?
even in the
I would-
Constitution, when they're talking about Constitution Day, half of the people are boycotting the Constitution Day. I mean, this is ridiculous. Yes, who wanted to say add?
We have journalist friend.
I feel
Sarita,
I feel instead of campaigns, instead of a campaign, what we need is sustained effort, a program maybe gender equity, sexuality, personal safety education, right from grade 1 onwards. And if you say not in schools, at least in our colleges,
Colleges,
make it mandatory, like it happened in KwaZulu Natal. In
Ma'am,
the University of KwaZulu Natal, this gender equity, because there's so much violence, they created a mandatory course for all their graduate and postgraduate students, whether you're studying law or medicine or social
Wow.
work,
ma'am,
whatever
it
it
should,
is.
ma'am, it should
What?
begin right from school. There
Correct.
also
But
you
there are,
really require.
If you
Sarita,
want to make changes, you have
as
to
a
catch them
principal,
young. Yeah.
as a
Yes.
principal, you're going to teach people physics, chemistry, biology, or you're going to teach them about traffic rules. They have no idea of traffic rules, of hygiene, keeping your house clean, spitting on the road. I mean, there are hundreds and thousands of things where we are lacking.
Yeah,
And
no,
if you have a
actually,
run a program for all these and the awareness still doesn't come, then I mean, what are we doing?
no, we have moral values classes. We have specially designed moral value
In our
classes.
time, we used to have, and the Archbishop used to come and give us a great moral class, and even on
Even we
traffic
have that.
rules. Yeah, I
Now
know
we are
DPS has
specially
it because
stressing.
my daughter is studying in DPS, so I know what all you have, and I've been there
Yeah.
as a guest, chief guest, a lot of times. So that's, but schools should
Let,
have it. Let's get
the
with.
schools should happen, and school is one place where we should have these programs.
So
And
how do we get involved? How do you tell the people or the agencies to get involved, and how do you
we do
participate?
invite NGOs. We do invite NGOs,
So
and they
NGOs,
address these
the
issues.
NGOs will coming. I'm doing this. I want donation. I
No, no,
want
no,
this
no.
to them.
Nothing like that. We had Johnson and Johnson. We had many of them who had come to us, and they spoke to the girls and boys. And in my school, especially, whenever you visit, you can see we have a box specially for girls, and the girls drop in. Not only that, we have program for boys also. And boys also, we write that the program is boys become gentlemen. First, they should be, that awareness should be among the boys also. The
Sarita,
mothers,
my
they treat.
10-year-old in DPAS came yesterday. I mean, they got a project and she was made the leader of that 5 group, and the 4 of them were boys. She said, these boys are bullying me. They're not following my ideas. So I said, you go and bully them back. That is
Yeah,
what you can do.
that is what we also tell the girls.
Don't complain to your teacher, you bully them back.
Yeah,
Okay,
that is
so
what we do.
this is how we can participate by wearing orange, getting support organization, educating, training, and trying to lobby for a change at all levels, the assembly level, the parliament level, and all. So what do you think is your and my role as a to change the cultural society? I mean, how do I what do I do as a gynecologist? I'm seeing women, I talk to them. Every one of them says, I get beaten occasionally, I do this, there is a sexual demand, over demand, whatever. And we try to just pacify, and that's it. So what do you think? What each one of you think we can do?
So, sir, first thing is
Short
that we
me.
have to, yeah, we have to tell them that they have to raise their voice at the first instance and say that, no, this is not okay. They have to also raise their voice. They can't normalize it in their life and say that when things go out of hand, they say that, oh, this is a part of my life. I'm unfortunate. They
So
have to stand up for
this is
themselves.
not okay is a good campaign. Yes, Sarita or whoever. Next. Unmute yourself,
Yeah.
unmute yourself.
I
Yeah.
think at some level, we really have to stop blaming the women for the behavior of men, whether they are normalizing it or whether they are tolerating it, or whether the mother-in-law is not saying anything. What is the father-in-law doing? Why is he not stopping his son? So we really need to look at each person's behavior. And sir, you said, okay, bully them back, but why can't we teach our children to listen to each other?
Yeah.
Why do we have to bully?
So tolerance has to.
Yes, and power with each
But
other rather
usually
than power over each other.
Sarita, usually tolerance, we tell the girl to be tolerant, women to be
No,
tolerant.
no, we tell the boys also.
So
We
we
tell the
need to
boys also.
change. We need to change outlook. Yes.
Yes.
Anyone else? Sagita, Anubha,
The one thing what we counsel the girls and boys together is we tell the girls, learn to say no. No
learn to
means
say no.
no. Yes.
Yes,
And we have,
and have the boys listen to the no. How to listen to the no without it becoming about your ego.
So
yes.
the
Right?
ego
Yes.
factor has to go back.
Yes, and masculinity. Can the older men model a masculinity that celebrates cooperation, caring, friendliness, protection rather than aggression and destruction.
Yeah,
We
Vrinda.
work in schools, like ma'am said, no, NGOs come. Yeah, we also go to schools, and
Great.
there boys are calling 7th standard boys, 8th standard boys are calling their classmate girls the names of porn stars. Now my
That's
whole
that's
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what the digital problem has occurred, and it has been compounded by the COVID because all the studies
yeah.
became online. So they got access to a huge lot of data, unregulated data. Yes, Vrinda, you were saying something?
We have to break the silence every time, not be
Break the
shy
silence
and
every time.
not be shy or afraid to call out anybody, including the media and the media anchors and anybody who makes offhand statements like this, including politicians. And I think we need to hold them
Yes.
responsible.
What can the community do to against this violence?
If I can come in.
Yes, please,
Yeah.
Anupa.
Dr. Malhotra, your specific question was on what can we do,
What
and
can we do, and
while
what
I
can the
mean,
community as a whole do?
correct, and this is an opportunity where we are addressing doctors, especially gynecologists, who deal with a lot of women, a lot of persons who are feminine, and I think this community would be witness to a lot of violence that your clients face, and I think this is a very important session that you have put together, because it's important for you also to know what you need to inform to your client who is facing violence. While obviously, of course, POXO makes it mandatory reporting, so there is a responsibility on you as a stakeholder as well. But for any adult woman who is facing violence, whether within her domestic family or whether outside in any other form, I think it's very important that you yourself are also aware of, okay, what's the local police station, what are the kind of NGOs which are available who can provide some kind of support. Does this person need some kind of mental health assistance? Does she need to understand what are her rights? If there is a connection with some kind of a lawyer or some legal NGO who can at least guide her and explain to her what she needs to do,
So
how she
basically,
needs
the
to protect her.
education
One
program,
more.
awareness education program, and hotlines and share and where are very important. Yes, Vrinda.
Sorry, and I would agree with what Brinda just said, that every single time
Every
every
single
single
time.
time you
Yes.
meet your client who you can see she has faced violence and has come to you, either she's being forced to have an abortion, or she's being forced to carry a pregnancy and she doesn't want to do that. Every single time, I completely agree with Brinda, every single time you have to bring it up, even if she has refused help earlier, even if she's not taken the help earlier, even if
She,
she's not taken the step earlier. Yeah,
yes,
sorry,
Vrinda.
Brinda.
Yes, Vrinda.
And I think it is communities that must take responsibility by not judging her against the male patriarchal standards.
Correct, correct.
And if Swachh
So,
Bharat as a mission has become so successful,
correct. The
Surakshit Bharat
toilet.
should become a mission
Yeah,
also.
can I just pitch in for 1 minute?
Yes, please.
No, together we can, but it should be unadulterated. No ambiguity, no inhibitions, and not to be judgmental. But unconditional support and care is what is required.
So
Can I say
just
something?
today, I had these two sisters who came to me, married from Agra, but married outside. They had come for a wedding, so they came to see a gynec because they were suffering from 3 years married, both of them. Their age difference is just 1.5 years. One is married in Bombay, one is married in Indore. Both MBAs, both married into very, very educated, good boys and good families, but they were crying. They have minor polycystic ovary, which they'll conceive. There's no issue about that. But just doctor, tell me that I'm not infertile, because every day I'm listening to that thing, and my husband being so well educated, so this thing, but my family says he has runs his own huge business, he needs extra hand, that girl MBA can help him on all the accounts. No, sorry, you just sit at home, your only job is to produce babies. The other one probably was on the urge of breakdown, so I had to take about an hour to counsel them, and finally I said, yeah, get along with it. Just try again with them in a lovey-dovey manner and just. But if you're having serious problems, they're beating you. They're not beating them up, but their verbal abuse is still there. So how do you handle all this?
Yeah, so can I come and just
Yes.
so creating a peer support system is very important. What are
Peer
the
support.
NGOs that are available that you cannot handhold them throughout the whole process. So you will have to handhold them through some NGOs and whatever a lot of women will be facing similar issues. So
Correct.
whether they can stand up for themselves is a big question for them as well.
So that is
Yes.
what they're not doing. So
I think
how effective are these educative programs and awareness programs, which we all do? We all do all these campaigns,
So
walk, orange. Someone said it is not effective. Someone said mildly effective. Should we keep on doing it, whether it's effective or not? Yes, Brinda, we'll start with you.
so
we have to absolutely continuously do it because
You
we
have to
haven't
continuously
reached that.
drill that it has to be done.
There is no other alternative to it because
Yeah.
at different levels we need to call out people differently. Some of the violence is subtle, some of the violence is overt and tacit. So we have to call out. Some of them have become very sophisticated, many of them romanticize it. So we have to keep calling at various levels and at various points of time. But
Sangeeta?
like you mentioned, one more thing.
Yeah.
We must have some kind of a hub in the community where women can go and take support and they don't have to travel too far.
Yes, Sangeeta.
yes,
Sir,
and these campaigns should be also a call for action so that once the campaign ends, there is a system on the ground. Create a safe responders network, something that persists. Involve the NSS. We did a safe network program for NSS volunteers. They are everywhere in every community. Create a safe network so that when there's a violence, you know what's happening. You can hear that ghanti bajao kind of a thing. Or
So
if you hear of a person facing violence, you can guide them. You are not saying तुमने क्या
proactively go
किया
there and
उसको
guide it.
गुस्सा
Even
क्यों
if they're not
दिलवाया.
complaining, go
Yeah.
proactively.
Go proactively,
Anubhav,
create a network, give proper guidance, where to go, how can you
Anubhav, what
seek
do you
help.
feel?
That's all.
What do you feel about these campaigns, Anubhav?
No, I think it's very important because it primarily is a mindset change which will require a lot of pushing. We were in an era
करते
where
रहो, कभी तो समझ आएगा.
no,
Exactly.
and the
Exactly.
change will be gradual. We have come to a place where now women are stepping out. They are going to workplaces. They are they are the bread earners. We've come to that from where we were. Some of us would also know the other reality, right? Where women
Yeah.
were not even there was no concept of women stepping out of the house. So from there we've
Sarita,
come
Sarita
here.
and Reena, if you were there, before you go, last question to you.
sir,
We are doing so many of these campaigns in. Yeah, welcome, Dr. Amod ji. Or you are sorry, you are Amit.
yeah,
Amit, what do you feel? Campaign itna, we are doing so much campaigns. Is it working?
campaign should be interesting. It should be catchy. And I believe role as a writer and a poet, I believe we have a lot of role in this. To energize these people and tell them that this is your right. It cannot
So
be
should we
not always be.
catch celebrities to campaign?
No,
अमिताभ
no.
बच्चन बोलेगा तो सुनेंगे.
नहीं नहीं
अमिताभ
नहीं
बच्चन बोलेगा तो सुनेंगे या ऐश्वर्या राय सामने आएगी बोलेगी तो सुनेंगे.
we
हमारी
should
कोई नहीं
not
सुनता, हम तो नॉर्मल डॉक्टर हैं.
Does make an impact. Does make an impact.
It
I
does
tell
make
you,
an impact. Yeah, but two panelists don't agree it makes an impact. Yeah, Vrinda doesn't agree.
First
Sarita
and
also doesn't
foremost,
agree.
yeah.
No,
First and
I don't
foremost,
agree because they are all, they have these idols are not perfect. We need a perfect one. I think doctors are the best. If you come and speak something, they take it with, okay, this is something serious and we have to follow it. But not this, celebrities, wrong
Celebrities will
celebrities.
just get
I
crowds
think,
and they'll just want a selfie with them and that's
Huh,
it.
that's it.
yeah,
So
because we are
Don't
so
also
want them.
but
bigger the
we
there's a
also
place
seeing
for
problems.
that
everything.
Yeah, bigger the
There's a
problems,
place for
more should be
everything.
the awareness programs, and it should be followed up with
Follow up
feedback.
the awareness. Don't have one and go away and come next year. On 25th को
Yes.
फिर आएंगे.
it has to be mission mode continuously at
So
every
what do you
level.
think is a call for action? Togetherness with all this, we can. So we need to reinforce our importance of collective violence against women is preventable and every action will count. One liner again let's come to the lawyer now, the legal frameworks. Do we have enough legal frameworks, or do we need to strengthen them? Do we want to change this into a criminal law? And what are the current limitations of these frameworks?
Okay,
Anuba,
so
tough
let me
questions for
begin
you.
by answering the criminal,
I wish there was a
and the
judge
civil
there.
aspect. See, so it's only after a lot of research that we actually got the Domestic Violence Act. It was because over the years it was found that what women want, especially in violent situations that they face at home, is someone to stop it. They don't necessarily always want a breakdown of the relationship. So therefore, we got the Domestic Violence Act, which in a sense was supposed to be something that would give you immediate relief. And you know,
So Anuba,
I
let
used
me
to
stop you.
I used to practice
Let me
in
just
Delhi when,
interrupt you here for a second. So if
yeah.
these women want this, and if they complain, एक पुलिस डंडा वाला लेके आता है और हस्बैंड को कहते हैं 2 डंडे मारूंगा अगली बार अगर बीवी को मारा. The whole thing is, I mean, we can't tackle it like that.
See, that's what
I
I'm
mean,
trying to tell you. That
if a
what
policeman comes to your
what
house, you are beating your wife, like you can see in the picture behind me. This one is beating, and if the police guy comes, it'll be a broken marriage that same day.
Yeah, very true.
See, but that's what I'm trying to
Yes.
tell you. That what
Yeah,
the
please.
research showed before the Domestic Violence Act was enacted was that the entire process of the law, whether it's going to the police station or whether it's going for divorce cases, etc., what actually women wanted in the majority of cases was somehow to ensure that this stops, and that's the kind of stopgap that the
Yes.
Domestic Violence Act was trying to bridge. And initially, when the Domestic Violence Act had come in 2005, I have got orders in 1 day, in 2 days. And then somehow the judiciary was told, go slow. There's no need for there's no need for magistrate level judges to get so excited about a new law. And we came back to the Domestic Violence Act being exactly like any other law. So I as a lawyer who's seen some of these laws, my suggestion and my take would be that we have a lot of laws. There might be some gaps which still need bridging, which still need plugging, but we otherwise have a lot of laws. Where we really fail is in the implementation. Where we really fail is ensuring that the spirit of the law is actually implemented. you know when the Domestic Violence Act is saying that you need to get your immediate relief in 24 hours, that the next date should not be more than 3 days, please follow that. If judges actually follow that and are allowed to follow that, I think it would make a huge impact, because we need to understand that laws also have their limitation.
I know.
A law will only reflect what the society needs or what the society needs to change, and
Who
it will
made the
only take
laws?
you
We
to a
only made
certain
the
point.
laws. We only made the
It will
laws
take you to
sitting in
a
the
certain
parliament.
point.
Brinda, yes.
Beyond
Brinda
that,
has
you
got
have
a
to do
different
something.
opinion, I think. Let Brinda's.
While I absolutely agree with our lawyer friend, I have to place on record that I completely agree with you. Nobody wants that case and all of those kind of things. In this Domestic Violence Act, actually the police have no role. But we are talking about threat to life. We are talking about murder that might happen in the name of suicide. At that time, if the husband is called to the police station to say, "Come and give us your statement here," now, will that not instill a certain amount of fear? So there is no fear of law in this particular instance. One. Two, there is no other option to register a case in the police station, even though we are talking about physical violence, sexual violence, emotional violence, all of those kind of things. So we may talk of different laws, but there's nothing that I can register vis-a-vis the Indian Penal Code or the BNS. So my take is there should be counselors, social workers, and police addressing this case, like in the West, where the man will be taken out as if into protective custody, taken out from that space, which might be the home, rather than the woman and the children being pushed out. Because presently it becomes like that until the court gives the order that she has a right to shelter. So we want to look at these things from how the justice system and the police system function just now. So when we talk of a criminal thing, we are not saying put him in jail. Nobody wants. Because when he comes out of jail, he's going to beat her twice.
He's going to be even more worse. So do you think the
So-
first step should be a social reconciliation, then a
Yes.
family court, but the family courts are so busy doing so many things that you can't talk about these things in a family court in front of hundreds of people who are waiting for, chalo next, tera divorce hona, chalo next, tera ye hona. I mean, then there needs to
We
be some
are,
privacy. Yes, Sangeeta.
sir, we are exploring restorative justice, restorative practices,
Restorative
where,
practice has to be there.
yes, and restorative justice, which strengthens relationships. At the same time, it holds the perpetrator accountable and responsible. It makes people move forward in a better way, because these things, as we have rightly discussed, all the panelists here, it cannot be solved by a law or a danda or a punishment. And that's why it takes us back to the school, back to our culture, back to the little.
So
So
it
when we
takes
feel
us.
angry, why do I have to hit? Why
So
can't I
it-
learn to express my anger through words in a way that it solves the core issue, rather than somebody dies at the because I hit them so hard, right? And then the problem is even worse. So
even
that is what we
even
are looking at.
playful beating up between brothers and sisters at home should be stopped, because that boy
Yes,
learns
yes,
to beat everyone. Then he says,
yeah,
sister cries, then he knows this
Yeah.
girls are weak and that they can be
yeah.
beaten in school.
No,
And those
aggression in
Tom and
any form
Jerry,
should be stopped. Very
Yeah.
true. Aggression in any form should be
Aggression. So
stopped.
no aggression
yeah,
should be there.
yeah,
No aggression.
But
and
there are aggressive personalities, and also it takes time. So
yeah,
how
and
can
not
And
watch.
one thing
yeah.
I would like to just tell Dr. Malhotra, that we are talking about particular women or particular strata of society. But sometimes when women from the very lowest strata of society, they are sometimes unheard, unaddressed, and their issues are never heard. Now, for this, I think we should have courts. I think we should have more NGOs pitching in, and we need more lawyers like Indra Jaising.
The problem is that in the villages, if a woman complains, it is happening to all the women in that village. And the village sarpanch will say, there is a sarpanch who they can complain to. But he will say, अरे यार ये तो एक मार दिया थप्पड़ तो क्या हो गया ना, चलो जाओ काम करो, अपना खेत में जाओ, बच्चे पैदा करो, गोबर उठाओ. That's the attitude which they have.
So I
I don't
just
know.
wanted to tell an interesting thing here, sir,
Yes,
because you're
yes,
mentioning
please.
about the community thing. So we
Yes.
wanted to do a survey about how many women are facing domestic violence. They said you cannot have that data because it is so much normalized and nobody will speak
Yeah,
that
it is. That's exactly what it is.
there's a normal, ये तो सबके साथ होता है, क्या बड़ी बात है इसमें, ये तो
क्या बड़ी
ऐसा ही
बात है,
होता
एक
है, मेरी
एक
मम्मी के
गाली दे
साथ
दी
हुई
क्या
है।
बड़ी बात है,
या
एक चाटा मार दिया क्या बड़ी बात है. That's a terrible thing. So let's the role of healthcare providers, the role of educators, school educators, the role of community leaders, all these is needed. You agree? I think everyone has made it
Yeah.
clear that all of us have to work. Yes, Vrinda.
There should be a mandated fee, not working in compartments, but working in convergence and collaboration. The
That's another
lawyer
problem with which we have more in India. Everyone is working on individual levels and don't want to collaborate. मेरी एनजीओ ने इतना
in
काम किया,
compartments.
उस एनजीओ से ज्यादा काम किया, मैंने इतनों को एड्रेस किया, उस एनजीओ ने नहीं किया, मेरे पास इतना फंड कलेक्ट हो गया. That again is a major problem in India,
So Dr.
especially in our country.
Malhotra, the
Yes,
thing is that it has to start with the parents. How do you stop it? The boys don't know that it's wrong to beat their sisters.
yeah,
The
I
men
know
in the
that's
family saw their mothers getting beaten up by the father.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
then the
Yeah,
educators in the school,
that
the
is
teachers
why.
have to tell
Hmm.
that you
Teachers,
cannot.
And the teachers also are facing the same thing. So that is why the on-track workbooks that we have written, which they used when introducing me, it is on life skills. It is on communication, relationships, self-awareness. What are you creating? How are you using your body? What are you creating for others?
what
And
about
not taking.
We must
what
hold
about
the
the
media
movies
also
you did?
responsible.
Not a single
Why
movie
Exactly.
is
won't
without
media
Movies.
violence.
should be held
Yes.
Look at the
All the
terrible
responsible?
amount of
movies.
violence in the movies.
साथ में
Yes.
कभी बहू थी.
Yes.
As if you need to add those kind of serials.
Yeah.
And wherever and in all of them, they are making fun of the women and showing that the women are the oppressors
Correct.
of women. No, excuse
Exactly.
me, the women have been oppressed for so long,
So
for
long.
generations. How do you expect a disempowered woman to bring up empowered children?
You know
She has just
what I feel
survived.
is
She has just
a
survived.
1,000 years back, our country was the most empowered with women.
yes,
The Devis.
much.
Then came all the separation of the Mughals, then the
Mughals and the
Britishers, and then and the whole society changed. And to get that 1,000 years to normalize into Satyog or whatever we had will take another 100 years, I feel.
Yeah.
And just
but
like
then
We
women
can't just sit
empowerment,
back and
we must
say,
have
अरे
men
ये होएगा,
empowerment.
मेरी lifetime में नहीं हो रहा तो कभी और होएगा. But I think
नहीं
we all have
होगा
to
होगा धीरे धीरे
Hoga
होगा
in this
सब कुछ होगा
lifetime.
होएगा.
Men also have to be empowered.
No, all
So
of us
let's,
have to
yes
hold hands. It's not that
yes
only one particular the thing
all of
profession
us,
can do
all
it.
of us,
All of
all of
us
us.
have to hold
Yes.
hands, and we have
Yes.
to be very sensitive to these issues.
Yes.
Maintain all transparency. Only then I think there'll be some change, a little change.
So
Dear
Amit,
and
if
it
you're
is
there,
excuse
Amit,
me,
if you're
I
there
have to
from the
be.
press or the media, writing
Yeah.
articles now, what do you feel that writing articles which you have written or addressing in podcasts and has it make a difference, or will it people listen or people read about it? People
Let
like
me
to read
address.
negative news. Nobody wants to read positive news.
Exactly, that's the point. News, news is what is negative. But then it depends on, today it is easy. I believe we are able to make an impact by writing on Twitter and sharing on other media, social media. And I will talk about a film called Darlings. It stars Alia Bhatt, right? Where this woman is being beaten every day till about half the film, and then she decided that she'll give it back the way she got it. And then all hell breaks loose. So I've written small 4 lines, just I would like to it. वो सहती रही, वो डरती रही, किसी ने नहीं पूछा. वो पीटता रहा, वो हंसता रहा, किसी ने नहीं पूछा. फिर एक दिन वो पीटने लगी और बवाल हो गया. सबकी इज्जत, सबकी मर्दानगी आर्तनाद कर उठी. ये पिटना पिटाना हमेशा एक तरफा क्यों होता है? So I'm just saying that it can be the other way around also. Why you're not able to accept it that a woman can also take up, take her revenge?
The minute it has other way around, अरे ये क्या कर रही हो? ये नहीं हो सकता. Women don't
Yeah,
beat men.
and,
Only men can beat women.
yeah
I'm
that's what
surprised. I was surprised that
Patriarchal society.
there were very prominent lawyers who were opposing this cinema, saying that this is a recipe to how to murder a husband step by step. I said, what the hell? जब तक वो पीटता रहा, everybody is accepting ये तो होता ही है, this is normal. So media has a big role to play. We have to fight this tendency even among ourselves.
Sir, if you
yes
see all the
and
television channels which puts up for their TRPs, the actual social cause, they don't go to the root of the cause. They just sensationalize the whole issue.
They
Yes,
Malhotra
set
sir,
a
you are
very
muted.
wrong narrative. They set up a very wrong narrative. The
yeah
media. Huh.
and they
They
are
miss out on the
always
main point.
yeah
So
and they are
these,
like the vocabulary they use, it is
yeah,
the
that,
porn star and we are the social workers. What is happening? They are the porn workers or the movie workers. The actors are working for money. The social workers are actually the social heroes. We
yeah.
are trying to undo the harm that is being done, but no, we are social workers and they are the heroes. So vocabulary is
Yeah,
also important, and many a time they say 16-year-old raped, as if rape happens like a common cold. Even for that there is a virus.
They
Where is the
sensationalize the
perpetrator?
brain.
So
yeah,
Put
yeah.
the perpetrator first.
let's come to a
Let me
more controversial topic. What about
let,
this
let me add,
LGBTQ
let me add to
plus?
this something to this. I've
Yes.
been a media person all my life. Say uh, till about 10 years back, I joined Prayas, and my perspective has changed. When you get to know things from inside, your mind changes,
I know.
and you get to see the things from the other side. So it does mean we need a lot of media workshops to, tell people that there is another point of view. We have to understand. So that is very important. We have to continue these kind of workshops. That is what I suggest.
Great.
Yes.
Right,
So,
sir.
so
So,
Sir,
Amitabh sir, please do conduct these workshops because the impact
yeah,
that media has on the whole society is unmatchable.
yes, unmatchable. The
Yeah.
people do. So
So I hope.
let's come to the near the end of this thing. Now, what about this community? I mean, we have now LGBTQ plus woman, all that. What about this? I mean, they are also facing a lot
No.
of
Yes,
verbal
yes.
violence, you know.
I can
Yeah.
tell you in school,
Is
sir.
this a part of our social structure now, changing social structure,
Yes.
or we're still going to reject them as no?
No,
Yes.
no. This is, in school we have the inclusive education. Now, NEP has introduced this and we follow strictly this particular thing. This is inclusive education. In the same way, we
Let me interrupt you, Sarita. How soon will your school have the third bathroom?
No, we do have for them.
So
We also have that.
boys, he, she, and they, or
They. Yes, we also have a third bathroom for them.
okay, great.
Now we
Narendra
should
sir,
work for us.
Amod Kant sir has joined.
Samoji, welcome. I hope you had a comfortable flight. Anyway, any other, Mosmi, you can put some views on LGBTQ plus.
So the problem with that is that we don't have data. We don't know what is the magnitude of the problem in the society. We have just come to recognize them in their existence in our society. So we are a long way down. In the government forms and all, just from 2019 onwards, we see that there is an option to actually express themselves that they are neither men nor women. They are different from men or women. So we
In
first need to
Uttar Pradesh government, one of the key departments is held by an LGBTQ who dresses
Yes,
up like a woman, and she just visited us and she was like very powerful. He or she, whoever it was very powerfully
yeah, I
expressive
think
and open about it. Sangeeta, yes.
yes. So we when I say we, that is the Enfold Trust in Bangalore. And we conduct our personal safety, sexuality, education, gender equity from grade 1 onwards. Our language is not binary. We talk of multiple sexes. Intersex is a sex that has always existed, it's a variation. Then the diversity in gender has always been there. There is enough percentage, almost if you take all the LGBTQIA people, it will be almost 15% of our population, if not more. And I think people as such, we should stop talking about as us and them, because here there are 60 people. Some of us may be from the LGBTQIA community, right? So we need to have our language, day-to-day language, inclusive, respectful. We don't choose our gender, we don't choose our sex, we don't choose our bodies. We are born with them. We can use them with responsibility, aware of the rights of others. We can respect our body, each and every function of our body, and respect others' bodies and their functions. Everyone is equally human. They are not they are us.
They are us.
Right? And we
Anybody
also
else?
have the
Anybody else
rights.
on this views
Sir,
on
please,
LGBTQAI?
sir, please contact Mr. Amod Kant. He is online.
Amodji, yes. He's not logged in or he's muted.
No, he is saying I'm trying to contact him. I was there, so his thing was not working. Now you can contact him directly.
I still don't think he's on the. He's not live with us.
There. I think Gauri. I think Amod
No,
sir is
no,
there.
now I'm on the line. I think probably
Yeah, there you
got
are.
happened.
Welcome,
No,
welcome,
just
Amodji. Welcome. Nice to be in touch again.
in Bihar Police Headquarters,
I
there
know.
was a meeting. No,
So
I
we
was in
are
Bihar
talking
Police
about
Headquarters.
LGBTQ as a equality and
No,
violence against
I have been
LGBTQ.
listening. Malhotra Sahab, I have been listening to the conversation for the past nearly 15, 20 minutes. I was in the flight because, I had a meeting today in Bihar. In police headquarters, there was a meeting chaired by DGP and I was the main person there. There was no flight, so I took a flight about 4:35.
No problem. You are with
started
us
at 5
in the
o'clock.
right time.
Now I'm with you.
So what are your
no,
views?
one point
What
I
are
would
your
like
views?
to
If a woman
I'll
complains,
just
पुलिस को डंडा लेके जाना चाहिए उसके हस्बैंड को मारने.
एक second. नहीं, Malhotra साहब, I have been listening to you guys and I have been listening to those eminent lady lawyers also. So because some discussion was going on Domestic Violence Act.
Yes.
I wanted to point out that the Violence Act, as you know, is a civil law. It's not a criminal law.
Yeah.
And then this law was being formulated and Ma'am Indra Jasing was there. I was trying to tell her that for heaven's sake, don't exclude police altogether. because Domestic Violence Act is a civil law. It's a strictly civil law. There is no criminal content in it, and there is no scope of FIR or police action. So that was a wrong decision, actually. Let me inform you, because and the law became practically defunct. So that is about Domestic Violence Act, and I agree with the because see, I'm a law enforcement officer. On the other side, because of Prayas work, I have been running a lot of programs for these women and for the children, girl, child also. The point I'm trying to make that whatever kind of inadequacies we had in the law prior to Nirbhaya case, Criminal Law Amendment Act, and prior to that was POXO. POXO because POXO looked after both girl and male child. But after Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, I think India has perhaps one of the strongest and strictest laws in the world. There is no dearth of laws, except Domestic Violence Act, where there is no remedy for the violence part of it. I'm surprised why it is not there. Otherwise, there is no issue in terms of the laws which are available to us. But the issue is that enforcement of law is a big issue. For example, there is something called Immoral Traffic Prevention Act. In Immoral Traffic Prevention Act, this talks about the commercial sex workers. There also, as you know, that the nearly 80% cases happen to be double victimizing the victims, in the sense that the commercial sex workers, because they are charged for soliciting. So on the one hand, they become prostitutes. I mean, that stigma remains with them. And for soliciting, they are behind the bar. So that law continues. Now the trafficking law, this is very, very important. Now the trafficking got defined in the Criminal Law Amendment Act in 2013. After 63 years, trafficking got defined actually. And there is a law now about trafficking. But then the women going all over all the country, be migrant and be into forced labor situations. I mean, there is a law, but then somebody has to enforce the law. I mean, that's the point. Please ask me. You wanted to ask a question to me. Please ask me.
No, I just wanted to ask if we criminalize the Domestic Violence Act and just it is needed because it might amount to murder or suicide, abetment of suicide. But if a minor violence, also the police comes to the home and takes away the husband for questioning, will lead to broken marriages and marital discord. So it is a double-edged sword, I feel.
See, the point is now the issue that we are raising. There's a big move going on against the rights-based situation, because as you know, 498A, up to the Honorable Supreme Court of India and various courts are saying that 498A has been misused. It has been abused by the women. I mean, that's the kind of legal opinions being expressed, which is not proper at all. See, the 498A, when it came, I was in service, as you know. I mean, I've been serving in police, and 498A came while I was in service. We waited for it. We wanted such a law to come. And the law became very, very effective. It must have helped millions of women who are in great distress in family situations. Now, there are now in the latest changes, there is no change in the new set of CRPC, IPC Evidence Act, but there are changes. This, see, what you call it, in that see the age of the child going up to 18 years. It was not 18 years in IPC, as you know. And there, that issue of marital rape, which is being debated, which is now hanging fire in the Supreme Court, also the marital rape part of it. Now that the age of the child becomes 18 years, probably marital rape issue should be taken up to 18 years. I hope I'm clear. So again, I refer back to the situations that women have to face within the confines of home, and let's say within the bedroom also, so far as marital violence is concerned. I think there is a need to give the woman protection within the confines of home more than outside. Although outside also, after Vishakha case and the harassment of women, sexual harassment of women, kind of law becoming kind of now a reality and being enforced or not enforced, but the law is there. But the basic issue is that majority of crimes against women are being committed inside the home. Rape, they happen to be any other kind of crimes are being committed, sexual crimes particularly being committed against women within the home situations. And it
That is exactly the problem. If crime is committed inside the home, how do I handle without a
So
complaint?
the
So
crime against a woman, if the crime against a woman inside the home, it can be any kind
yeah,
of crime. Dowry death, for example. When the Dowry Act came, police has to go. I mean, you cannot deal with a crime, you cannot deal with the violence without the police being there. And
yeah,
how the police acts, that's the point. If the police
that.
acts in a today, as I told you, I was
So we need
speaking in
educational
Bihar.
programs for police also.
So not only educational, there are very few police officers who have that kind of sensitivity. I agree. But today I'm saying, today there was a discussion on the same issue because the DG police of Bihar and additional DG all were sitting. I was there. I was one of the persons talking to them. I mean, in a state like Bihar, which happens to be perhaps worst in on many counts, many parameters, I think the DGP and other people are very keen to do it. They're very keen to do. I mean, the senior most officers about crime against women and children, when they were talking about it, they're very keen to do it. This is a very slow process. I mean, starting from the time, I'll just go back for a moment. Starting from the time 1970s, 80s, when I was Deputy Commissioner of Police Crime in Delhi for nearly 5 years, we started a crime against women cell. For the first time in the country, Delhi police has started crime against women cell. For the first time in the country, we started rape crisis intervention centers. And those things have taken a national shape today. We have got one-stop crisis center in all the districts of India. We have got crime against women cell is there in all districts of India. The changes have taken place. The laws are there, the changes are taking place. I'm not so diffident about the changes taking place, but I would like to emphasize that please, for heaven's sake, don't exclude the domestic situation from these crimes because 75 to 80% crimes are being committed within the
In the
family
home.
situation.
Correct, correct.
So this
So,
is
ladies and gentlemen, we come to the last part, and that is addressing women's problem as what I call it weep. And this weep has 4 E's: education, employment, environment, and empowerment. Women are now getting educated. Yes, in the villages we have MABA, everything. Employment, yes, they have started getting. Environment is still lacking, and the empowerment is still lacking. So the weep is still there. And what can we do is what we've discussed. What the government, not the government, let me clarify today on this platform. The Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Nara was given by Foxy, our association, in 2008, and by me as a president of Foxy. And that time, 2008, they called me silly fool. What are you talking about? Let's talk on academics in the. So Beti Bachao, I said, no, we have to go to the villages and address these problems in the rainbow of the girl, educate them, eradicate anemia, regulate the population, promote contraception, deliver them safely, detect cancer, and of course, plant a tree for the environment. Now, 2019, I changed this to Beta Samjhao and Beti Bachao because now Beti pad gayi par bachi nahi hai. So now what is lacking is the Beta Samjhao. That is my punchline or the last line, and I can have a last line from all of you
One
before we
point.
close down this.
No, one small point about your
Yes, sir.
4 E's. The employment part of it. Let us not forget the latest. For the past 10, 15 years, the women's workforce participation being whatever it was. Now they are trying to claim that it's 37%. It used to be just about 20, 26, 28%. And you are talking about let's say, empowerment through employment. I mean, empowerment through self-help groups and microfinance, etc., have really taken a shape. But then employment or the workforce participation of women is a very powerful tool for women
Correct.
empowerment. And
That's what I'm saying.
that is not doing well at all.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
not
We have
doing
to
well at
address
all.
all these.
Something has.
We have to address all these E's. Still address all of them.
So, sir, the best line that you put up here is about Beta Samjhao. That is something we have to start aggressively working on. That has not happened enough, I believe.
That's my 2019 Kanara. 2008,
That's in school.
2008, I said Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. 2019, just after COVID, I said Beta Samjhao because COVID, we saw a lot of male domestic violences. So thank you very much, panelists, for very, very wonderfully bringing out all the points and having a very interesting debate or this panel. Lovely points. And I'm sure whoever's listening to us, some 50, 60 people online, and then it's on Facebook and YouTube, and the recorded version will be circulated to 40,000 gynecs. I'm sure we'll make a difference. Thank you, Dr. Sarita Sinha. Thank you, Anuba. Thank you, Mosmi. Thank you, Dr. Mod, Mr. Mod. Thank you, Amit, for being there, and Sangeeta Saxena and Sarita ji, and of course, Reena Wani. Dr. J.M. Kannan could not join because of heavy rains there in that area, Trichy area, but everything was fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
Thank
much.
you for
Thank you.
giving this platform. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
sorry
Thank you.
for my non-participation for a long time in it. It was my loss. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Over to the Master of Ceremonies, Tripti and Madan.
Thank you, sir, for such a, I would say, very, very inspiring, thought-provoking, engaging. There were so many emotions going on here and there. So I'm sure each one of us had an opinion, but then you kind of summed it up, and all the panelists together. So hello. So thank you all panelists, and sir, I hand over the mic to Apurva and Madan to carry it forward.
Before we come to an end and vote of thanks, thank you so much, Narendra Malhotra, sir. Sir, you are always an epitome and you are inspiration for all of us. Any topic given to you, and definitely, you know, in your presidency, you have given this lecture, you have given this Nara, Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao. And now it's definitely a time we have to tell our generations, Beta Samjhao. So thank you so much for bring out this wonderful punchline, what I say, and all the wonderful panelists, Amod sir, and you are being there in spite of your such a busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir. Your insight and your you know inputs are always a very eye opener for all of us. Thank you so much, Amod sir, and all the wonderful panelists. Mosmi ma'am is there, Sarita ma'am is there. Ma'am is the teacher of my wife, and now she is also teacher of my son also. So thank you so much, ma'am. And Srivastav sir is there, and all other Sangeeta madam is there, Anubha ma'am is there. Thank you so much for all the listener. Thank you for making
Thank
this
you.
a really a wonderful and
Thank
out of the
thank you.
box panel discussion. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes.
Over to Madan sir to please for a vote of thanks quickly.
Yeah. On occasion of this International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, our Foxy Sexual Health Committee has organized this wonderful event, and it was really a successful event due to these esteemed participants who have given their great inputs and contributed a lot to this program. I want to thank our own Foxy office bearers, Dr. Jaideep Tank sir, Madhuri Patel ma'am, Dr. Ajay Mane sir, our own chairperson, Dr. Apurva, Dr. Neeraj Yadav sir, our chief guest, Dr. Sunita ma'am, guest of honor, Dr. Madhuri ma'am, Ajay Mane sir. I want to thank every faculty participated in this program. I want to thank ICOG for granting 2 ICOG points. And thank you once again, all the dignitaries who have made this a great success. Thank you once again. Thank you
Thank
all.
you. And thank you so much to the ICOG for granting 2 ICOG credit points. And those who have attended, you will receive the certificate of attendance within 2 weeks of this webinar. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
once again from the heart. And definitely, you know, boon boon se pani banta hai. A small effort from each of us can make really a difference. So I think we gynecologists are first point of contact to our females, and definitely they can open up with us. So I think we can make a big difference and big impact in our society. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, Tripti ma'am, for coordinating with me. Thank you, Onference team, for the live streaming on Onference. Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you
a
so much.
pleasure being here. Do you know, Apurva, we have a group, Doctors and Sadis group, and they're all doctors, females there, gynecologists there. And almost every day we have an anonymous post of who can be more empowered than a doctor. And they are suffering
Absolutely.
so much abuse, and somehow they are not getting out of it. So I believe to an extent, we women are very soft, we are vulnerable, we are the nurturer, so that destroys us. We have that over glorified motherhood thing. We have never glorified womanhood in our cultures. It's always a mother. So somehow these things take us back. And the worst thing I believe, which I think we should talk about, is women empowerment by giving them immovable assets. Over the years, we have given them jewelries, kapda and all that. What does it aid to? They don't have a house, something where they can, stand. Either it is their parents' house or their husband's house. They have nowhere to go. So, being financially capable of taking care of their finances, even for people who are gynecologists, doctors, successful ones, is very important.
Property rights. I think property rights is a very important
It's
issue.
very, very important. Over the years, it has weakened women because they have never been given these assets, immovable assets to fall back upon. Any adverse. It is very easy to say, ki you go there, rent a house and live there. It's not that easy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of you. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you,
Good
sir.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gauri,
Thank
you can. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Gauri, you can stop the recording.